Wednesday morning, I mean, the news just broke. You and I chatted about this a little bit before we started recording. Of course, we learned about the passing of Gale Sayers, former Kansas Jayhawk, and played for the Chicago Bears. Went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I mean, you can't say enough about this guy. Yeah, I interviewed him my senior year of college in 2014. You told me you met him at KU. I'll share my story in a moment, but I want to let you go first. What was your experience like meeting Gale Sayers?
Well, I tell you, he was a very humble but confident man. In fact, I don't know whatever happened to it, but I took a picture back then. We took photos, no phones, of Gale, and not with me. It was just with Gale. You know, Gale was actually, I thought I got him in a real good pose, and I took a picture, and but I sent it to him to get it autographed. He said, "Hey Dan, yeah, I'll autograph it and send it back." And I got to thinking I probably didn't give him my address to send it back.
Oh.
So, but I wish it was really a cool picture. It was kind of him looking over his shoulder, but no, it was he's a very humble man. And my first experience was, I'm sitting right here in the middle of the Chicago Bears, the Minnesota Vikings, the Green Bay Packers, the Chiefs, and at times St. Louis, and so we're kind of right in the middle of everything. And a lot of people were Bears fans. In fact, when I was a little kid, I mean, I must have been, this is easily 60 years ago, that Billy Wade was a Navy friend of a neighbor. And I was down there, in the playground playing. He came over and threw me a ball. And so I got to be kind of a Bear fan from that time. So I'd always watch the Bears. And here's Gale Sayers that, I called it on Twitter today, poetry in motion. And that's what it really was. I mean, he could slide, glide, slip off a tackle. And I tell you, it's like the world fell apart when he got his first knee surgery, because you never saw him get hit. And then he got the first knee surgery, and then he had another one. Of course, he was a great kickoff return guy too, along with being an outstanding running back. So, but in great hands, a tremendous athlete, the Kansas Comet, obviously your ties with the University of Kansas and the Jayhawks and everything. Gale was just tremendous. And then, of course, the movie with Brian's song, I worked with John Malkovich at Purdue, and then John's roommate, was Brian, so it really, it was, I had a lot of ties there.
I've heard so many great stories, and I was listening to Charlie Weiss on Sirius XM. And a lot of people know about his son, Charlie Weiss Jr., who got into coaching. And Charlie shared a story, Charlie Weiss Sr., that is. He shared a story when I think he was the head coach of Notre Dame. And that is when he met Gale for the first time. And he shared the story about how his son was asking Gale Sayers for coaching advice. And Gale's advice was that he needs to play football in high school to have a good understanding of coaching the game. And so Charlie Weiss shared that his son had, lost some weight so he could play football his senior year. Now, I would imagine that was his only year playing football. I'm not sure, but, you still have some familiarity with it, a better understanding with it. And Charlie Jr., I know he followed his father at the University of Florida and then over to KU. And I don't know where, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he was with Nick Saban in Alabama.
He might have been.
Yeah, so he's done. But again, he took Gale Sayers' coaching advice, and I think there was even an article last week of Charlie Weiss Jr. Crediting Gale Sayers for that advice, and it just shows how such a nice guy he was. The story I have, his niece was a classmate of mine And I did not know that she was related to Gale Sayers. One of my broadcasting instructors at KU, he tells me, he goes, "Hey, her nickname's Q. Everyone called her by her first initial." He goes, "Hey, Q is Gale Sayers' niece, right?" I'm like, "What? No way!" It's like, really? It's like one of those things, like, you don't believe that you're sitting next to someone who's related to someone famous. So I was talking to her. I said, "I didn't know you were Gale Sayers' niece. He's my favorite Jayhawk of all time. It'd be a dream to interview him. It'd be so cool to do." And she said, "We'll make it happen." I'm like, "Really?" And I thought she was kidding. And it took a while because she didn't know when Gale was going to visit Lawrence. But right before KU's spring game in 2014, he planned to visit to talk to the team. And so she set everything up. And I still remember I had a journalism class at 8 a.m. and I skipped that so I could go do the interview at 9 a.m. And I had to get there a little early. And I remember I was on the bus on campus, and I was still on the bus. I saw Gale and his family walking into the student union, and I knew exactly which one he was. His entire family's going in, and I'm like, "Holy shit, that's Gale Sayers right there!" And my heart started beating. It's like, I'm really nervous now. Like, I'm about to interview him too, which I can't be nervous anymore. But he was such a nice guy. I was really nervous, he's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Why would he do an interview with a college student? But he was not like that at all. It was just so cool to talk to him, and just things that I learned researching about him. The first player in FBS history to run 99 yards for a touchdown. The youngest player to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Just really a great player on the field, and obviously left behind a great legacy at KU and in Chicago. But also just a really nice guy. I know a lot of times, especially, in moments like this, when you're honoring and celebrating someone's life, you hear all these positive things, but that really was the case for Gale Sayers. I can't say nothing but good things about him.
Yeah, absolutely. I like when I was at KU, the people that were there when he went to school and things like that, John Hadel,
Yeah.
and they had nothing but great words for Gale Sayers. And he's a very shy guy, really, when he came in at KU and everything. And he was always very quiet, kind of humble. But boy, I tell you what, you look in those eyes and he had confidence, and you give him the ball. I mean, it was Katie bar the door.
Yeah, it definitely lost. Not just in the sport of football, but just life in general. One of the nice guys in the world. So certainly condolences to his family. I did reach out to his niece, and she responded and had great words. She remembered that day and shared how fun that was. So that was very good. And his wife, by the way, such a nice lady. I don't know if you had a chance to meet her. She was really excited about that interview. We took a picture on my phone, and then she took a picture with her camera. And then a week later, I have it sitting right here to my right. It's always been there. They sent me a picture, and it's with him autographed. So it's so cool. Such a nice guy. And, again, condolences to his family. And I'm sure he'll be very missed by everyone who's been around him.